So I'll go ahead and start us off with some prayer. Father God, thank you for just all of these lovely faces that we get to connect with virtually. God, and I just thank you for them investing their time, and then even in a time where people, where we're just so uncertain that people are reaching out and thinking of others, God. And so I just thank you for their hearts, for the kids in our community. And I just pray that you would bless this conversation, and may we all leave
To what?
inspired with new ideas of how to support our kids and our communities,
access.
and just guide our conversation. In Jesus' name, amen.
Yeah.
So thanks for coming today. This is my first time hosting a virtual meeting, so bear with me. I wish I could have you all turn and talk to each other, but I know you can't. But I'm glad you're here. A few things. There is like a chat dialogue. If you've never used Zoom, is this anyone's first time using Zoom? We're all pretty familiar. Okay, great. So there is a chat dialogue on the right side. And so you can always feel free if you'd like to chat there. Like Andrew just sent us all a chat. So everyone is mute. You also, the mute button is in the bottom left corner. And so that you can like mute and unmute yourself. And that way we just get less feedback. So whenever you'd like to chat, or whenever you'd like to speak, you just unmute yourself and then we can hear you. So first, just wanted everyone to introduce yourself. I know some of you have met before at some of our meetings, but some of you have not. So if you just say, we'll go around, and if everyone would just say your name, what school you're from, and then just a brief, like a sentence about how you're feeling about all of this. Well, how about Bill? You're in my top corner, so how about we start with
Bill
you, Bill?
Johnson from Walters Elementary, University Presbyterian Church. And we've got quite a number of mentors over there that are looking for something to do. So it would be, I'm looking forward to seeing all the good ideas that come out of here of things that we might be able to do.
Michelle?
Hi, my name is Michelle, and I'm at Centennial Elementary, and I'm the Family Ministry Director at Calvary Worship Center.
And if you, Lynn, go ahead.
I'm Lynn Smith. I mentor over at Powers, and I miss the kids.
Gwen. Oh, Gwen, you're still on mute.
There we go. Sorry. I'm Gwen Hooper. I'm at Kirk Elementary, and I concur. I miss the kids. I was thinking the other night about all the little hugs when you go on campus. So it's wonderful to be part of this group and be thinking of things that we can do to reach out.
And feel free to just jump right in. I don't have to call you out. So go ahead. Whoever wants to go next.
Hi, I'm Doug Hoagland. I'm at Robinson Elementary, co-site leader with Nancy Hoyt, who is not with us today. And I've been wondering about the kids that I work with and hoping things are going well for them and for their families.
I'm Dave Morgan from Winchell, and I'm hoping we can get this going again, but I guess there'll be maybe a longer delay.
Becky Decker. I am mentoring over at Fig Garden Elementary, and hoping to hear some fabulous ideas from all these wonderful brains that are here.
I'm Jerry Plassman at Norseman Elementary. I'm feeling hopeful, grateful, and overwhelmed, and kind of, cycle through those.
I'm Carol Young, Susan B. Anthony with The Well, and actually, sorry, that was not good timing. Miss the kids, but also very impressed with Fresno Unified and the connections that they're making with the kids. So I'm hopeful and excited to see what's next.
So I'm Vanjie Carrillo. I am from Image Church. I also work for Fresno Unified with the attendance and the truancy. So I'm working from home like you wouldn't believe. Got a lot of calls from the parents. I'm staying connected with Columbia because that's the school site I'm at for the literacy mentoring. Just to help, just to give you a little smile. This weekend, we helped over 30 families with spaghetti dinners. I made all the spaghetti and we delivered it out, and we delivered it to a lot of the families who sent me a text because we had the principal put it on Peach Jar that we're willing to help with meals on Saturday. And they responded. It was I seen a lot of our kids, a lot of my kids from the school, they were excited. I was going up to the door with spaghetti. They're like, Miss Vanjie. And so just that connective piece, I connected with their parents and I says, if they want me to come back out, I'll come back out. We can play sidewalk sight words. So just keeping connected with the kids. I think they're just as much as the parents are worried, the kids are worried as well.
If this is working.
Yeah, we can hear you.
Okay. And I'm with Harvest Church, and seeing all sorts of feelings, hopeful yet also from the kids, and feeling overwhelmed having to now suddenly homeschool my own kids. As a nurse, not really in the front line, weird feeling of like, should I be out there? Or just lots of different feelings going on for me.
Mm-hmm. And Kitty, I see you just joined us. Do you want to just share?
Yay, I did it.
Yes.
Whoever helped me, that was great. I couldn't do it for some reason on my iPad, but I got you on my iPhone. So, yeah.
You did it.
So did I miss a lot?
No, just share. We're just intro. So just share your name, what school, church, and like a sentence about how you're feeling.
Oh, okay. My name's Kitty Kubation, and I'm a member of New Covenant Community Church, and I mentor at Mountain View School at Alluvial and Maple. And this is I'm going to call it my third year, although the first year we only got in about, Janessa, 7 sessions or something, because it was in the spring toward the end of the school year. And I am a go-go person. I've been retired for 11 years now, and I've always been busy, and I have I'm a gym rat. I go to the gym 6 days a week, and of course that's not happening. So I'm doing a lot of walking, and it clears my mind, and it's just good physically and mentally for me. And being at home has forced me to clean out cupboards and closets, and so I'm not going crazy, and I just trust God and know He has a plan, and I'm prayerful, and that's probably too much information, but what came to me.
Yeah, no, thank you. I think you expressed a lot of the feelings we're all feeling of like, I'm having a hard time staying at home. It's just hard to stay put. And I know it's for the better of the whole community, but it's hard. We're all go-getters, definitely in this group. So I hear you.
Did Debbie get on, Janessa?
No, Debbie's not on, but we're actually recording this too, so we can send it to folks afterwards and they can
listen. Good. Okay.
Yeah. And one other person, Shirley's name is there. She cannot do the audio, but she can hear us. Shirley, I'll introduce you, from College Church of Christ at Eaton Elementary, and a wonderful person. And I wish we could hear your voice, but I know you're there. And Erica, you want to intro yourself?
Hi, good morning. My name is Erica. I work with EMP with Read Fresno, with some of the Fresno State students who are literacy mentors in our schools. It's really wonderful to see a lot of you who I've seen around the semester. So it's good to reconnect and to hear from some newer faces as well. I think just like one word has been to really reflect on for this time has been like a pause. This feels like everything's been put on pause, and it's hard to know like when that pause will end. But there's some creativity, I guess, that we can work with this time. So that's really one thing I'm grateful for.
Awesome, thanks. And then also Andrew may or may not still be there, but he's our boss, me and Erica's boss at EMP, or his wife might be getting on, who they also literacy mentor at Kepler. So real quickly, so about EMP, like just a few updates here. So obviously we work in the school system and we can't work in the school system for quite the foreseeable future. And our boss, Artie Padilla, had asked the whole staff to just consider, as a nonprofit, as we look at like the ramifications, like financially moving forward, he asked the staff to consider if anyone would be willing to go on furlough in the meantime. And so that is why Monique is not with us at this time. She decided on her own that like she'd like to go on furlough to take the time to like watch her kids. So our hope is that she'd be back like once this all settles, once the dust settles, that she'd be there. Like her spot is still there on staff. So that's why she's not with us at this time. But she's also, we trust her and her husband made that decision. He has a full-time job and she's able to help watch the kids more. So any questions or thoughts about that? I shouldn't want to be something hidden or confusing. And so that's why we dearly miss her today, but she's hopefully, once the dust settles, we'll be back.
Janessa, was that Monique you were talking about?
Yes.
Okay, thanks.
Yeah. Yeah. And so then as far as EMP in general, we're still running and trying to figure out ways to still support our kids and our communities in light of all of this. And so that's why this meeting's happening. And as far as Fresno Unified updates, I know I have 2 Fresno Unified staff on here, both Gwen and Vanjie, so you can fill in my gaps. But basically, like Gwen told me last week, the main goal was just to get the food situation sorted out. So they're trying to figure out food distribution for kids, since we know a lot of our kids, they're missing that breakfast and lunch every day now. And so they first wanted to settle that. And so there's pretty much an established food system from here going forward. And so now they're starting to focus more on getting laptops and iPads out to kids so they can start to do more virtual learning, because not all of the students have laptops and iPads and access to Wi-Fi. So the goal this week has been to get more of those out from what I'm gathering. And in the meantime, it's kind of been, I've talked to a couple teachers and it's kind of teacher by teacher, even school by school, teacher by teacher, in terms of what they're requiring so far or what they're offering. So some teachers have given out packets, some are calling kids. It's kind of varied spot by spot. So I realize as we kind of share ideas today, some will work for you and some will not work for you based on like your personal relationship with the principal or with the teacher in your classroom. So kind of it's all very up in the air. So hopefully you get some new ideas, but also I realize not everything we say will apply to you, but hopefully some does.
One thing I'd like to add, at Fresno Unified, they have put materials up for K through 12 students to access. So those students who do have tablets are able to get on and have some of those resources at their disposal. Again, they're trying to ensure that these families have tablets for children and they have internet access. And until we have that, it's kind of difficult to require anything of them. Another thing to consider at our schools that are high poverty is that a good percentage of our parents are non-English speakers. And so even trying to send out materials for them to help their children with, they're not able to help them. They want to. And I send things home and I tell the kids, you read anyway. Even if you don't get every word correct, your parents will still listen, but it makes it more difficult. So that's why this is kind of a step-by-step procedure, and the superintendent's trying to roll everything out in an orderly fashion just so that we make the best use of the resources we're trying to expend.
Anything else to add from Fresno Unified, Vanjie, on updates there? Oh, you're on mute.
No, I get maybe an email or two from Bob or Mr. Nelson, just trying to connect, and we're trying to connect to the Spanish families. We are trying to, and the Asian families, all races. I'm getting a lot of parents who are contacting me asking for tablets and all this, but we had them at the school sites and we tried to give them out, but they weren't picked up. And so now it's like we're going back to, okay, this is what you have to do because it's optional, and that's what they're saying. They're optional. We're here ready, come and get it. And when they don't come, then we give it to someone else, and then you come back, okay, I want it now. So that's how it's going with the lunches as well. So it's almost like where I'm at Columbia with a lot of the Spanish families, a lot of the parents are farm workers. They're not working, they're working. So the older siblings are taking care of the kids. So we've been watching Coach Jay, Jason Spencer. He's been out there in the neighborhood because he lives closer. And if he has a question, if he sees kids, then he will stop and talk to them, see what's going on, what are they doing. But that's our dilemma. It's like, Bob, we're trying to figure it out. I mean, we got 10,000 employees. We can figure out 74,000 kids. And it's just that, but it's everybody has their own families as well. And so you're like, everybody's in the middle. So we're just scrambling that stuff. But I see a lot of kids outside. I'm in the neighborhoods. I see a lot of kids outside. And it's almost like, okay, guys, I think we're going to have a lot of catching up to do. We're going to have a lot of catching up with these kids. And it's not even going to be during school time because now they're going to need every minute in school time. They're going to need every minute in the classroom. And so it's almost like we're going to have to come in the back end. But the lunches are going good. I mean, we're running out. They literally have to, every week, they are adding more to the lunches because I guess as we go, we're the second week. So we do a good almost 50,000 lunches and breakfasts combined, and they keep adding and adding because they're running out at all the school sites. I know Clovis is doing their lunches as well. They have a first pickup in the morning before 8, and then they have 11 to 1, they have pickups. So it's almost like the food's there, and they're coming and they're getting the food. They are getting the food. Food pantries are running out. They are running out. And we had a food pantry at our church last Wednesday. Our food was gone within 10 minutes. So it's like, okay, and you see the kids are like, don't bring your kids with you. Just keep them home. Just keep the kids home. And it's like, it's hard to stay in. It is hard to stay up for these kids. But Bob, he is really trying everything. He's in, but he's in the office majority of the time because I'm like, I see his emails. I'm like, you're in the office. You're supposed to stay in. He goes, no one's here. So it's like, but we're trying our best. Everybody's trying our best. We're all on emails all over the place.
Yeah, thank you. So yeah, that's kind of an update of where Fresno Unified's at. Clovis Unified, pretty similar. Sherry, I know you've talked to your teacher. Would you have anything to add about Clovis Unified?
I'm not too sure of everything that's going on, but I have gotten in touch with her and asked if I could do video calls with one of the students that's really struggling, really behind in his reading. But his issue is, he doesn't have he doesn't have a tablet, and they're trying to give him a loaner tablet. But then my next question was, does he even have internet access? And I'm not sure about that. So, I haven't heard back, so I don't know what's going on with that whole situation. Probably just need to send out another email to find out. So these things should work even without the internet, right? Like at least Duo or some other options. I'm not sure.
Yeah. So sometimes tablets can connect to like a hotspot or something instead of Wi-Fi. But yeah, these are all things we're all encountering. Yeah. Well, so moving into, so I made like thinking through like how we can support on that agenda I sent out. I felt like there's ideas around how we can just support some of our mentors, like our personal volunteers, ideas around how to support kids, the larger school and community, and then around how to connect with the church. So I think since kids are highest on our mind, why don't we jump down to kids first, and then we'll come back to mentors. So I'm going from that agenda that I had sent out earlier, if you want to open it up, if you are a visual person like me. So again, like you're hearing, Fresno Unified, Clovis Unified teachers are still just trying to figure it all out. But we wanted to start brainstorming what are some ways that we can connect with kids in the meantime. And again, it'll change teacher to teacher, site to site. But these are some initial ideas. Carol, do you want to share your sight word list and what you all are doing with read aloud videos?
Yeah, one of the first grade teachers asked if we had the sight word book in a list, and so I just created a 3-page document with the kindergarten words on the first page and then the first grade words on the next 2 pages, with a few of the graphics and stuff from our book, and sent that to them. And so they're going to be using that. And I think, is that something that you can make available, Janessa, or if their teachers want it? Yeah. So that was one thing. And then just reaching out to the teachers and finding out how we can help. Because, I mean, there may be certain kids that you've been connected with that, you know, there's a possibility to still connect. It's hard because, you know, there's the privacy issues and all that. So it's hard to know what we can do. But I just reached out to the principal and said, let us know how we can help, or is anything we can do. And so she suggested videotaping us reading a book and sending it to her, and she would send it out to the teachers to send out to their classes. So that was a really neat thing, and that helped the mentors feel like they had something they could do. And a lot of them did read during Read Across America Week, so you know that was a neat thing. So that's just a couple things.
Yeah, and Principal Giametti at Heaton had mentioned the same idea, doing some kind of video, either a read aloud video, so yourself reading a book and sending it to her or to the teacher for them to then share. Or she mentioned doing some kind of sight word video. We didn't fully flesh that out, but we didn't fully flesh that out, but they were open to like us videoing ourselves and then sending that out to kids. Gwen had some ideas around potentially leaving some of the materials and mailing those out. Gwen, do you want to share some of those?
Well, and I haven't really fleshed this out as far as figuring out how we would do it, but I was thinking even if we could mail out some of the sight word books or some of the games for those students who don't have access to computers, it would be something that they could do. Especially the games that they're familiar with, that their tutors work with them. I know they have some real favorites in there. So that was a thought. I know that would take some money to be able to pay for the expense of sending all that out. But I'm just trying to rack my brain around, you know, what are things that we possibly can do to reach the kids. So that was one thought.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, so we can mail them, or also whatever like distribution sites they're already doing food at. I think we could also leave materials at those sites. So if that's something you're interested in, reach out to me later and I can help get you some supplies. And we can go
with me and Miss Avalos at Columbia, I had sent her a message. And so she's always on Class Dojo checking out on her kids. So she sends out messages through Class Dojo. And she had sent him out my information because I have my regular cell number, but I also have a Google number. And so I says, if any parent wants me to go out and do sidewalk sight words or needs just that extra help with their student. And there was like some of the kids who I know are really, really low, and I'm being out of school this long. It's like, I know we're going to start from the alphabet again, and they're in 2nd grade. So she sent out a message to all the school sites or to her classroom. Because she goes, do you want to just meet with just your kids that you were meeting with, or anybody? I go, anybody who wants to take it. They're all in the same boat right now. And so she sent out a message to all the parents, and from 1 to 4, then I'll go out to the neighborhood and go out to their street because they all live pretty much in the same area near Columbia. and we'll do sideboards. I mean, we'll do the chalk out there. I have some stuff that you gave me, Janessa, and I still have, whenever I get there, I get the little extras. And so I have it in my car ready to go. And so we'll just do it outside. I mean, it's one-on-one. We're not going to do anything. Their parents are contacting me and saying, okay, but Miss Avalos is really good because she has little ones. She really can't go to the neighborhood or come out because she has a little baby. So I just told her, I'll do it. I can go out into the area. We're out there anyway in the area constantly. So I met with one of the little girls, Jocelyn, and she's ready to go. I mean, she was sight word all over the sidewalk. She wrote all her words. We washed them with water. Then we had to wait for it to dry. So it's like, that was the bad mistake. We had to wait for a while because it's cold out. So, but we kept doing stuff, and it's almost like just that little extra. I'm like, okay, you can't stop. Here's an extra book. Stop, do your words. And so it's just, I think they just want to see us. I mean, they are used to the family all the time, but I think they just see someone else. And mostly now I'm coming to your house. You're here on my sidewalk. You're here. And it's, yes. So it's, that really touched me. That really touched my heart when I just seen her smile just bright up. And I'm like, really? I only see you 15 minutes a day. But I think when you're in a house with your siblings, you need that little break. And so the brother and sister, can we come out? Like, come on out. So it's like, because we're outside, we're okay in the air.
My one thought, I know that a lot of, even in this conversation, I wouldn't advise you to go out. Like, we're, at the age that, I want you all to be safe first. But as a site lead or as connected to your church, you could think about potentially like other folks within your church and community who do feel safe to go out, that you could then equip them to do some of this. It's just a thought. So, of course, I want you to all stay safe. But thank you, Vanjie. That brought a smile to my face. I really love that.
Danessa, is it possible, we have all those bins of the booklets that are the kids' booklets. Is it possible to get access to those booklets and provide them at the lunch pickup sites where the kids can actually pick them up and still use them?
Like the actual, from the classroom, like their personal? I'm guessing not. Because from what I've gathered, the schools are pretty shut down. They're not letting even staff onto the sites. So the better option would be we could make new booklets. Like that would be pretty easy for us to get fresh, new booklets.
Hey, Janessa, I just attached, I'm so proud of myself. I just figured out how to attach that file so the digital sight words is in that chat if anybody wants to access that. But that might be a way, even if they had a copy of that, that's a list of the words. I almost made it so they had little marks at the beginning of the word so they could check the words they know. So that would be an option too, but that would be a whole lot easier to copy and send out for the kids and put those at the sites too.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and with that sight word list, then you give them, even if you all want to write up a sheet or like describe sight word, what she was saying, give them chalk with that, and then they could practice their sight words outside with chalk, or give them creative ideas to do with that list. Would be great. Anything else? That's the list so far of what we had there, but things just thinking about kids. Anyone else have any thoughts that they've wanted to do, tried to do?
Vanessa?
Yeah.
Hi, it's Jerry.
Yes.
Can we get a list of the sight words with for second graders with them delineated by group, like the number, the lesson number, or the, so that the kids might know where they are and they can continue to move from that, or is that too difficult?
Yeah. No, I have all the time in the world, Jerry. Lots of time now. So you're saying like a kind of like what Carol made, but with all of the words, like kinder through second grade by list.
Yes. Well,
Okay.
How they're in, levels like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and the kids might know what level they're on, and then they can review and then go on and kind of know that they're where they are. I don't know.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, but just in a format that's more easily shareable than the book format.
Right, just like on a page or something.
Yes. Yeah, I can do that. You're right.
One thing just I might mention in passing, Bob Nelson, our superintendent, is doing Read Aloud every day at 11 a.m. on YouTube. So if you're in touch with anybody, I know several families who are accessing that, and he's great. So it's just kind of fun that the kids know their superintendent cares so much about them that he's doing that.
Any other thoughts on just the connecting with kids section? Any other things you would want? Any other questions, ideas?
Janessa, something, I mean, this can be not like an immediate project, but I think it'd be something nice to do. Like if we do some cards, like some letters and notes to continue some of like our mentors who are, they're connecting in that way, or they had been in the classroom. So we can collect them and we could take pictures and like send them pictures of like, maybe like our walks or whatever we're doing, like, outside to like connect. This, I think something that other people had mentioned is like continuing like the recognition, the celebration that'll come like after that typically happens towards the end of the year. And so also to kind of prepare for that, creating like different awards and whatnot for the kiddos as they get closer to the end of the semester.
Yeah, I think that's a great idea, Erica. And I like that we can all write cards without having to leave our house too.
I had another idea too. What about, do you have any extra games or any of the things the kids played that maybe we can send those to the distribution sites as well, especially if they're home and with their siblings? That would be great if they could be spending their time playing games around reading.
Yes. Yeah, we could do that, definitely. And I'm seeing in the chat, Nancy's asking if we can send cards to kids and how would we get them to them. Vanjie, Gwen, do you know? I mean, I know the school district has their addresses. Do teachers typically have access to addresses? Would they be willing to share them if we were to write kids cards?
Right. We would do, that's why I asked Ms. Avalos to let them contact me. I had the parent, here's my number, let them contact me if they need anything. And so that's when the parent did contact me and says yes. And I did ask her, is anybody sick in the home and all this stuff? And we were outside, but that's when I said, okay, give the parent my number and give me her address and I can send her what I have or go out there and visit her. So yeah, if it goes through the teacher, because I think they really trust the teacher. The parents really don't know us compared to the teacher. So if it's coming from the teacher, they're like, okay. So that's why I reach out to Ms. Avalos and I tell them, and all the principals are on email still, so they have to be on email constant. Teachers have to check their email once a day. So
the only other thing I could think of, and I have to, pass this by my school, is if they could send the cards to the school and then the school can address them. We can't give out student addresses like you just said, but I would have to check, but I would think we would have somebody there that could receive those and get them out. So I'll check on that.
Mm-hmm. Aren't the schools shut down though? Isn't that what you said, Janessa?
I think they are, like from emails I've gotten, that there's no one on campus, or except for the food during the short food distribution windows, then there's somebody there.
And the food is only in the front yard, in the front of the school. Gates are locked, so they just have a table that and it's right there.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. So probably best to get addresses from the teacher, I'm thinking, via email. But maybe then the teacher, if they don't, go through the teacher and see how they feel about it. And even if they want them to send you cards to them and then they send them out. I think it'll vary school by school and teacher by teacher. Those are all good thoughts. I would say if you send out cards, send out some stickers too, or some like confetti in the card. Bring a little, sprinkle some joy in there. I sent a card once to one of my former students and put confetti in it. And I also gave her like a gift card, like other cooler things. And she loved the confetti the most. I was like, well, I should have just done confetti. So moving back up the list briefly, I had also been thinking about how to just support our mentors. So like the other day, one of our mentors at Powers, he's pretty much homebound. I gave him a call, and I think it just really like brightened his day. And so I was just thinking of how we can be aware of. I know some of you all are trying to stay home, but then also some of our other mentors who just might be lonely and not be super connected, or might even need some supplies. And we definitely have, like Erica's connected with lots and lots of Fresno State students. If we know of people who need someone to go pick up food for them, I think we could easily find people who want to help there. So yeah, if you thoughts on that, or also on sending cards to mentors, or picking up supplies. How are you feeling at your own churches? Do you think your churches are pretty well connected with people and trying to stay on top of that? Or do you think some are still falling through the cracks?
Well, I think for my church, we are an older generation church. So just the whole I'm actually working on, for my children's ministry and stuff, videos to send out for Sundays. We just weren't there yet, and now we're having to be there. So it's taking a little bit of time. But we actually had a centennial pantry drive at our church. And it was so wonderful that the principal and everyone there wanted to make sure that some food went to our congregation. So I think that was really great, because they couldn't have held that on their campus because everything's closed. So I think with like our church, we're just trying to get the whole video thing and the, out for our services and things, and trying to figure out ways to stay connected.
Yeah. So do you feel like you're pretty, since you have an older generation church, are people like calling some of them to make?
Some do call, but a lot of them are my Facebook friends, so I'm kind of keeping tabs with them all. And we do have a church Facebook that we're, getting messages on, but we are actually going to go through and call every single one of our members and check up on them this week and just see how everything's going, and if they need anything. And I think that's what our step will be, is just that phone call, instead of the videoing and the things like that.
And that's what we're doing at Image Church. Pastor Jay called me yesterday to check up on my mom. And luckily, God works in a way that you can't imagine. But a couple of months ago, I moved in my mom to help take care of her, because she is going blind and is handicapped. So I made the decision to come in, and then Pastor Jay called yesterday, and he says, I'm just calling to check up on your mom, check up on you. And he goes, I'm checking up on all the mothers and seeing what they need. And then he goes, can I use your Google number? And I'm like, what? And he goes, can I use your Google number to give out to the family, or the mothers of the church and the elder generation, the seasoned generation? So if they need anything, they can contact us. Then you contact me, or we're going to connect them to resources. And I'm like, yeah. So that's what we stay connected through the phone, even if it's just a phone call. Because it's quiet at home. If you get so much Netflix, you get so much TV, then after that it's silence. So it's almost like everybody's connecting. We have a team that's trying to connect by phone calls, checking in daily. And some will answer some days, some don't want to talk. Everybody's in their mood. Some days you want to talk, some days you don't. So, but the phone always works. I just worry, honestly, I worry about next month, because it's almost like, the end of the month, or close to the end of the month. That's when the money gets short. That's when, am I going to pay that phone bill, or am I going to buy that food? We may lose that connect piece, because they may not decide to pay the phone. And they'll have it on, but just for emergency services. So it's almost like, that's what I worry about next week.
Do you all personally still feel well connected? Like, do you wish you were getting more phone calls from folks? If a Fresno State student were to call and just check in and see how you're doing, would you be like, why are you calling me? I don't know you. Or would you be happy to hear a friendly voice? Just thoughts.
I'm always happy to talk to anybody, but I don't feel lonely. No, I wouldn't. I don't feel like it would be a wasted call, but I feel like there's so many more people out there that are lonely. And I was going to add to, at our church, we have a team. Our lead pastor mentioned this during our online church service last Sunday, and he's also sent out emails for those people that that are housebound or either just because of their age group, they're high risk, whatever it is, that there are people from our church that will definitely go out and provide food for them, you know, for the people that are housebound, to give a list. I mean, and our staff, as far as I understand, is still there. They're still working and they're still connected. And our pastoral minister is, they're still working. So I feel that our church is really connecting to the community.
Good. Yeah, so just something to be thinking about, maybe even personally as at your own church and also school site. If you know of any mentors who could use an extra hello, maybe give them a call sometime this week. And I think personally, I'll look through the list too, and think about those who could use a little extra support. And I think it makes us all feel better too when it gets us out of our own lonely grumpiness to call someone.
I'm thinking about maybe the possibility of some of those mentors doing a video read along. The kids are used to seeing them, and I think that would be really exciting if they could see their mentor reading a book. So just a thought. We'd have to figure out logistics to get it to them, but it might be fun.
Yeah, definitely. I agree. And a good chance to hear different books too. Yes. So if you end up on any of, that's on our list under kids. If any of these ideas later you want to chat with me about more for your site specific, I'm available. Or if you want to reach out to each other too, if Carol had some of those great ideas, or Vanjie, feel free to reach out. So moving down into the larger school and community. So ENP is already working with Fresno Unified and with Metro Ministries and other food distribution groups to map out where the school sites are that are giving out food, and then trying to just make sure the community's covered. So where schools are not, because it's not at every single school now, it's select schools. They're also working with churches or with local organizations to also become food sites. So eventually we'll have a big map of all of those sites locked in, and then we'll share it out with you. And we would love for you all just to share that with your networks and with your kids so they know where food sites are at. And then our thought is that those food sites can also become a not just food, but a donation spot where we can put out books. We can put out educational resources, our siteware booklets. Even if people want to donate things like toilet paper, baby wipes, or just high needs or food, they want to put donations, they can put that out there too. So those are a few ideas. Yeah, and then also this morning, so the Well Community Church Fig Garden Campus is becoming a book distribution site. So I think we're working with Reading Heart and EMP to get lots of books at the Well Fig and then use that as a place to distribute books out. So those will go to some of the food sites, but also already had mentioned, if any of you or any of the literacy mentors would want to make your house or your church an impromptu little free library. So I don't know if you have seen the little free libraries. They're little set up little houses where you can put books in. Of course, you don't need to make one, but if you'd want books for just in front of your house to put out on a table or in a box, free books, take one. We have access to a lot of books, and we're just trying to think of creative ways to get them out into the community and to get them into spaces where kids can't access them, since all the libraries are closed now as well. Thoughts on any of all of that? Or questions?
Can you put a little library in front of the school? Or, I don't live in the neighborhood of Winchell, but where could I put one down there? Yeah. Maybe, okay, there are churches close. contact them, I guess.
Yeah, that'd be great. So putting like installing little free libraries on the church or on the school site has happened at some schools. It's kind of a long process because there's a lot of red tape to get it on a school site. We want it to happen in the future. I don't know if it'll happen right now, but yeah, getting one installed at a church is there's less red tape. And then even if we can't get an actual full little free library installed right away, if there's any kind of makeshift way, we can even put out, just a box of books that looks enticing and inviting and has a big sign that they're free. That would work for now too. I know that won't work in the rain, but anyway, that they don't have to be the full thing right this second. Does that make sense?
Hey, Janessa, I was wondering what schools are actually grab and go sites for lunches and breakfasts. How do we get a list of those? Is that on the Fresno Unified website or?
Yes, that's Fresno Unified. There's only a few elementaries. I know Columbia gives out the lunches because they do one. I think Gaston's too far out, so they made it centralized. All the middle schools in Fresno Unified, they are giving out lunches and breakfasts at every middle school. And then for Clovis, there's quite a few. They're all on their websites. I looked at Clovis yesterday, so almost all their schools are giving out.
Okay, thank you.
I saw a link too. I'll try to find it and share it out with you all. It was like one news article that had all the Fresno Unified, Clovis Unified, Central Unified. It had all the sites on it, which was helpful to know. And then once we are aware of the other sites as well, we'll get that out there. So the non-school sites, the ones that are more like church or community based.
So this is a goofy question, but are they considering expanding those sites to more sites, or are they just going to organize what they have and keep it as is? Or we don't know.
Well, I know Clovis Unified are sending out buses to different corners and giving out the meals as well. So it's not just school sites for Clovis. My son goes to Clovis Unified, but I'm not sure about the Fresno Unified portion of it.
We were gung-ho. We were at every school site in the first 3 or 4 days, and we were left with a lot of lunches and a lot of breakfasts. And that's why they had to limit it, because we were out there. And I think it was the shock of everything. No one wanted to come out. And now it's like we limited it, now we're running out. And so it's like it's hit and miss all the time, but we have to centralize people to get these lunches to every single school site. We don't have that many drivers now, so we had to limit our drivers.
And I think if any of your churches are open to becoming a distribution site, again, Artie, my boss, is working with other, like Metro Ministry, other nonprofits that have access to food. So if you have a church or a community center and you're not super close to another site, you could potentially become a food distribution site as well.
Janessa, I'll talk to my pastor on that one, and then we can talk later. Maybe we may be one. We'll see.
Okay. Yeah, and I think so to keep all that in mind, if you connect with anyone else at your church or any other mentors, I think an easy thing to do at home, especially like with your own kids or just when you're cleaning things out, if you want to start cleaning out your own books, your kids need to clean out their toys, and you talk to them about how we're going to donate these toys to other kids who need toys to play with. It's a good activity and a simple way to give back. So I'm willing, even if you have things you want to donate, I can come pick them up, and then I'll help distribute as we figure out which sites could use the most, who are getting the most foot action and could use the most books or resources.
Call me if you think of anything else.
Are you going to consist them?
I'm going to get everything I know.
She stepped away. That's Shirley's husband, everybody. Any other thoughts? I know we're coming close to the end. Any other thoughts on the larger school community?
You know where they are, right?
Carol, do you want to talk about the parade through the neighborhood?
Yeah, just that, and another thing I just thought of. But on Friday, I'd been communicating with the principal, and On Friday, we're going to do the caravan through the neighborhood with the principal, vice principal, and some of the teachers. And she invited the mentors, literacy mentors, and then Saturday sports leaders too, to caravan through the neighborhood. So they'll lead it, and they know where the kids are living. And she's sending out something to the entire school to let them know we'll be driving through the neighborhood, just to wave and say hi and let them know we're still around and we love them and care about them. So I'm excited about that. I'm thrilled to see the kids' faces. And then just something I thought about when you guys were talking about going out and working with the kids with sight words in the neighborhood, and some of us don't feel like we want to get out there and do that yet. But, someone was talking about chalk your walk, like taking chalk out and chalking your walk. And I thought, why couldn't you go out in the neighborhood and just write sight words all over the sidewalks or something as where the kids are? That might be fun for the kids too. So just a thought.
I like it.
Well, and then the final area of thinking through was just church. So we have the Serve Fresno website. So if you go to servefresno.org, I believe it is, that is, EMP helps to run that website, but we basically get opportunities for service, like community service opportunities. It's been a website that's always up and running, but we're using it now to keep track of service opportunities for people in these times. So feel free to share that website, or if you have something going on at your church that you need donations for, or you need manpower, volunteer power for, we can also add to that website. So just send it to me.
What's the website again?
It's Serve Fresno. Let me make sure if it's a .org or. Yeah, servefresno.org. Thank you, Lynn. Just continue. I think on that list we just put asking what churches are doing to serve, and if they, if you want to add that to the website, we can do that, or if the church needs further ideas or further support, we would love to support as well. Anyone else I know we don't have many places to go and be, but you still have, it's almost been an hour. So anyone have any other final thoughts you want to share, or any?
I just have a good news thing to leave everybody with. Right before we left, we were doing midterm testing, and one of the little boys who is being mentored, he was really behind a little third grader. And I believe that it's been kind of a community effort, but I just want everybody to know that because of the efforts of every neighborhood partnership and getting these tutors in to help kids every single day, he grew 39 points between first and second testing, and that is astronomical.
Huge.
So for a third grader, he's so excited now and just taking off and feeling good about himself and reading everything he can read. And I just want you all to know that this really does make a difference. And for this one child, there's a lot of ones like little Valentine that we're impacting their life for the future. And it's because people care and they give their time. So I just want to say thank you.
Great. Yeah, well, I appreciate you all. And so feel free, as of now, I'm still working and I'll, continue to be here. So feel free to reach out with questions specifically on your site, or if any of those notes that we added, you want to chat more through, you want some supplies, you have any donations, all of that, all of the above. And I'll be sending out a newsletter to all of the literacy mentors this week, and I'll include some of the notes we talked about so that they're aware too of ways that they can reach out. But I know you have more connectivity with some of them, so feel free to send your own info out to them as well. And prayer requests too. If anyone want to share any prayer requests, or anyone like to end us in prayer? All right. Well, thank you all for being here today. And I'll close this out in prayer. And again, I just appreciate you taking the time, and even when we're uncertain of what the future holds, that we're still thinking about other people. And I think that's how we get through this, is we remind ourselves to be grateful, and then also remember there's lots of other people out there who really still need our support, if anything, now more than ever. So I appreciate the time thinking through these ideas creatively, and I hope you got something from this and we continue to work together for the good of our kids. All right, I'll close the prayer. Father God, thank you for this time. And thank you, God, that you are still the God of us. You're still the God of our kids. You're still the God of our schools. And we just pray for your just hand of protection over our kids, that you would keep them safe, help them to be loved, seen, heard, and well fed, and hopefully even well read eventually. So we just pray, you're just for your provision, and then you would give us all, as we took away ideas from here, give us the power and creative ideas and insight to move from here and to put some of this into action. We give you our time, our hands, our feet, and we pray that you just use us. In Jesus' name, amen.
Amen.
Thank you. Good to see you all.
Thank you, Vanessa.
Thank you.
Bye.
Vanessa.
Thank you.
Bye.
Bye, guys.
Bye-bye.
Thanks. We appreciate it.